The jungle moon of Calyx 7 breathed with predatory intent. Every rustle of leaves concealed fangs. Every shadow promised death. It was a world where mercy was a foreign concept, where the strong devoured the weak without hesitation. Rhea had learned this truth the hard way. She collapsed against the base of a massive ironwood tree, her armor cracked and leaking coolant fluid. 3 days. 3 days since the ambush that scattered her unit across this nightmare landscape. 3 days of running, fighting, surviving on nothing but adrenaline and stubborn human determination. Her rifle lay across her lap, power cell nearly depleted. Her hands trembled as she tried to stay alert. But exhaustion was an enemy she couldn't outrun forever. Her eyes closed. Just for a moment, she told herself. Just one moment of rest. She didn't hear the soft padding of clawed feet approaching through the undergrowth. Tar crouched low, his sleek obsidian fur rippling over developing muscle. At barely 2 solar cycles old, he was young by Karvathi standards, but already he stood nearly 4 feet tall. His siblings, 3 smaller cubs, huddled behind him, their golden eyes fixed on the strange creature slumped against the tree. "What is it?" whispered Nira, the smallest, her voice carrying the characteristic growl of their species. Tar's nostrils flared, drawing in the scent. Mammalian. Warm-blooded. Vulnerable. Everything his instincts screamed was prey. But there was something else, something that made him pause. The creature, the human, he corrected himself, remembering the word from the data streams his mother had shown them, bore the marks of a warrior. Scars traced across exposed skin, burns from plasma fire, wounds that should have killed lesser beings. This human had fought and fought hard. Mother spoke of these, Tar said quietly. The humans. The ones who refused to yield. His brother Kesh snorted. It's small, weak, no claws, no proper teeth. He stepped forward, circling Rhea's unconscious form. We should... No. Tar's voice carried the authority he'd inherited from his bloodline. Look closer, they did. The human's fingers, even in sleep, remained near the weapon. Her breathing, though shallow, was measured, a warrior's rest ready to snap awake at the first sign of danger. Her armor, though damaged, bore kill marks. 17 confirmed. An impressive count for any species. Then Rhea murmured something in her sleep. A name, perhaps. Something lost. Something mourned. Nira's ears flattened against her skull. She dreams of pain. Tar's jaw tightened. He knew that kind of pain. Every cub of the Karvathi knew loss. It was their way, their test of strength. But there was something in the human's vulnerability that stirred something unexpected within him. Not hunger. Not contempt, recognition. She fights alone, he said softly, separated from her pack. The moon's twin suns began their descent, casting long shadows across the jungle floor. The nocturnal predators would emerge soon. The razor wings, the tunnel serpents. The human wouldn't survive another night without rest. Tar made his decision. We guard her. Kesh's eyes widened. Have you lost your mind? She's a warrior without her pack. Tar interrupted, his voice firm. Would you abandon one of our own in such a state? The question hung in the air. Among the Karvathi, pack loyalty was absolute. To abandon a warrior in need was the gravest dishonor. Nira stepped forward first, settling down near Rhea's feet. I'll take first watch. Kesh hesitated, then growled his acceptance. This is madness, but I'll watch her flank. Tar positioned himself directly in front of Rhea, his back to her, his eyes scanning the darkening jungle. Then it settled. Nothing reaches her. Not while we breathe. The night descended like a predator itself. The first challenge came within an hour. A Razoring, its wingspan nearly 20 feet across, descended from the canopy. It had caught Rhea's scent, wounded prey defenseless. Easy meat. It didn't account for the 4 shadows that erupted from the ground. Tar's roar shattered the jungle's ambiance. Though young, his voice carried the primal fury of his species. Nira and Kesh flanked him, their claws extended, their bodies positioned between the Razorwing and the sleeping human. The Razorwing circled, screeching its frustration. 4 Karvathi cubs against a full-grown predator. The odds should have favored the winged hunter. But the cubs didn't retreat, didn't falter. The Razorwing, sensing the determination in their stance, chose easier prey elsewhere. Throughout the night they came. Tunnel serpents drawn by the scent of blood, shadow stalkers hoping for an easy kill. Each time the cubs stood firm. Each time they drove the predators back. Tar felt his muscles ache, his young body pushed beyond its limits. But he didn't move. Couldn't move. Something fundamental had shifted within him. This human, this Rhea, had earned their protection in a way he couldn't fully articulate. Perhaps it was the kill marks on her armor. Perhaps it was the way she fought even in her dreams. Perhaps it was simply because she reminded him of what his mother had always taught. That true strength wasn't measured in claws or fangs alone. It was measured in the refusal to surrender. Dawn broke with golden light filtering through the canopy. Rhea's eyes snapped open, her hand instantly finding her rifle. Survival instinct brought her to full alertness in seconds. She scanned her surroundings, tactical assessment running through her exhausted mind. Then she saw them. 4 Karvathi cubs, positioned in a defensive formation around her. The largest, obsidian-furred and bearing fresh scratches, sat directly ahead, his golden eyes meeting hers without fear or aggression. Rhea had fought Karvathi warriors. Had seen their brutality, their merciless efficiency. They were apex predators bred for war. These cubs should have torn her apart while she slept. Instead, they had protected her. Tar slowly rose to his feet, his movements careful, non-threatening. He could see the confusion in the human's eyes, the wariness of a soldier expecting betrayal. "You were alone," he said, his translator collar rendering his growling speech into human standard. No warrior should face the night alone. Rhea stared at him, her tactical mind struggling to process this impossibility. Then slowly she lowered her rifle. "You guarded me?" Her voice was hoarse, disbelieving. "You are a warrior," Tar replied simply, as if this explained everything. And perhaps, in the language of soldiers, it did. Rhea felt something crack in her chest. The armor she'd built around her heart. The wall that kept her moving through horror after horror. These cubs, these children of a species humanity was at war with, had shown her more compassion than she'd dared hope for. "Thank you," she whispered. Tar's ears perked forward. "Your pack?" "Scattered. Lost." "Then you need a pack," Nira said, stepping forward. "Until you find yours." Rhea looked at each of them, these impossible, wonderful creatures who had chosen honor over instinct. She thought of her scattered unit, of the war that raged across the stars, of all the reasons this shouldn't work. Then she thought of the night just past, of the protection freely given. "All right," she said, managing a tired smile. "Let's find them together." Tar's tail swished in what might have been satisfaction. As they moved through the jungle, the human walking among 4 predator cubs who had chosen her as their own, he understood something profound. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their weapons or their technology. It was their ability to inspire loyalty in even the fiercest of hearts. And perhaps, he thought, that's what made them truly dangerous.